Hi again, everyone. It's me. Good morning. So wanted to talk about another hard thing this morning. So I saw there was some test results in my inbox. And so, as most of you may know, based on my book, because there's a chapter or a few chapters toward the end of my book about this. In December 2024, I had a full-blown left ischemic stroke, which means there was a blood clot in this side, like right here or something, that started causing big problems for me and caused me to have a stroke. The biggest part is that recently, I waited 9 months to see a genomics doctor. He was the last hope in finding an answer. I had seen a neurologist, a rheumatologist, an oncologist, a cardiologist who I have a loop recorder in my chest still, monitoring things. They put a camera in my heart to make sure there were no issues there. But every test that they did came back inconclusive. There was no hope of a reason as to why. And I was directed by my rheumatologist to see the genomics doctor. It took me 9 months to get in with him. And through that time, I worked with occupational therapy, physical therapy, cognitive therapy, which helped me in many ways. But I wanted more of an answer, like, why does a healthy person in their 40s have a stroke? And so, like I said, just recently I saw the genomics doctor, and so he did a test, a genetic test that was the last hope of me finding an answer, and it didn't. It was negative. So here I am. I guess I'm at 10 months post-stroke. Well, almost. I think, and there's still not a reason. So I just, that a lot of the doctors say, well, it may have just been a one and done. It may never happen again. But it's hard of the not knowing, because everything I was doing, I was a healthy person. They found nothing. So now what? But the only thing I can do is thank God. I mean, that's not the only thing. That's the best thing. Thanking God that a lot of the things that the stroke left, have alleviated. It struck me most cognitively, and the cognitive therapist, I worked with him for about 7 months. The occupational therapist was about 5 months. She was trying to help me get the strength that I lost in my right side of my body back. Although it's not back to what it was prior to the stroke, it is the same as the left side of my body. I used to be dominant in the right, and that's no longer there, but that's okay. And sometimes when I talk or smile, sometimes my the right side of my face goes down a little bit because it did droop from the stroke. And cognitively, there's still some things that happen if I'm doing too much, and that's not a bad thing, because prior to the stroke, my husband and my therapist actually did an intervention with me, because they were like, you have to stop saying yes to taking on more students. So I was a home instructor. I still am, for Bridgewater Raritan School District. So I would just take on a lot of students. So I was becoming slightly a workaholic. So was stress and overworking the cause? I don't know. But now when I do too much, I start to feel some kind of pressure in my head. And that's kind of like, hey, reboot, you need to stop and take a break, which wasn't there naturally in the past. So that's actually a good reminder to have. And the other thing is that working with the cognitive therapist for 7 months, he had me write. He said writing is healing. So interestingly enough, and this is really why I believe, there are so many things in my life that point to everything happens for a reason. Well, this is just another one, because having the stroke forced me to put aside teaching for a while and focus on my healing. Healing was the way, was writing, right? So writing was me picking back up my book that I couldn't work on because of my busy schedule, being a mom, and so healing from the stroke became the ability for me to finalize, finish, work on, publish Unshaken. And without having the stroke, I don't know if I ever would have done that. And by publishing Unshaken, I'm able to now advocate for mental health and break the stigma and bring people hope. And I think that, when they say bad things happen, but God turns them around for good, I think that my situation is really that. Something bad and life-altering happened, but as a result, God is turning what happened into something good through my advocacy and my successes, and me hoping to help you and everyone else who is either struggling with mental health or trying to be the opposite end of someone being there for someone who does have a mental health issue, because I think both sides are as equally important, but also just trying to show that mental health in itself is just as important as physical health, because you cannot thrive and be successful if both of those things don't work together for the greater good of your own self. So anyway, that was my rant for this morning. So although it was disappointing to not have a conclusive reason why I had a stroke, I have to just lean on the fact that everything does happen for a reason, and sometimes we don't even know what that reason is as it happens. I thought I was going back to work 2 weeks after the stroke. I still have not, as of yet, gone back to the teaching yet, but that is going to happen soon. So anyway, if you'd like to meet me and come hear what I have to say at my mental health advocacy event, it's happening at the Marriott on September 28th from 2 to 4 p.m. The Bridgewater Marriott. Also speaking at Seton Hall, October 9th. And thank you. Thank you to everyone who has purchased my book, because without you, I wouldn't be able to get those royalties to places that really make the difference. So Overlook Medical Center and to NAMI, who they help thousands of people who have mental illness. So just surreal. It's a surreal moment. And again, I thank you all. And please remember, if you're not feeling okay and you feel like there's no one to talk to, I'm always here. My email is glorifiedwriting@gmail.com. I can try my best to bring some hope into your life or direction or whatever. Thank you very much. Next week is a new week. I hope you have a wonderful week. Take care.